Welcome to Who Put This On, Season 2, Episode 17, where we watch America's Got Talent, Season 12, Episode 5. And I'm Chris Lorenz. Sitting to my right is...
Robert Kitts.
Sitting to my left is...
Harrison Hoffman.
Sitting to his left.
James.
Sitting across from me...
Any guesses what my name is this time around?
Max Donald?
Howie Maxdell.
I was going to let me guess Max B.
Close enough.
Man, I really tried to come up
That
with
would have been...
something.
I think Max B is better.
Max B. Shit, what did I miss? Did I miss the inside joke?
One of the judges is...
What have you been watching for the last 2 hours?
Who the hell's B?
Have we even...
Seriously?
Right.
What did I miss?
We'll come
Howie?
back. We're gonna
Is
come
it
back.
Howie B?
It's not Howie B.
Who the hell's B?
Who are the other judges?
You got Mel.
Mel what?
No clue.
Mel B.
I'm like, it's either Mel, Heidi, or Simon, and I have no clue that any of their last names are B.
They
her
just
name
kept
B, or
saying
does it start
Mel
with
B. They just kept saying Mel B during the show.
So
The big sign with the X on it corresponding to her button says Mel B on it.
Shit.
so
Oh,
so
no.
I looked
okay.
up who she was. I wasn't 100% sure. So she was in the Spice Girls. She was Scary Spice, and there were two Mels in the Spice Girls. So they had Mel B, and I don't remember what the other Mel was, but
Just Mel.
Oh, that's why it's Mel
she
B.
was like Mel B and Mel C or something like that.
Mel A, Mel B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have the description for the show?
I've got it. I think. Maybe I don't
I
have
feel
it
like
here,
if you're
actually.
listening to this, you obviously know what America's Got Talent is.
It's America's Got Talent. It's a big talent show. Hosted by Simon Cowell.
Is that the new thing? Wait, Harrison
technically-
just,
Yeah,
just
that's
does it.
Technically, Simon's not the host. Technically, Tyra
Oh,
Banks is the host.
You're right.
Like the worst,
Head
almost the
judge.
worst host that we've seen.
Not to say
Better or
worse,
worse
just
than,
irrelevant.
She's pretty cringy.
Yeah. I was going to say better or worse than the dude on the challenge who's not Ludacris.
She's worse.
Who the hell was that
Obviously,
guy? Adrian Peterson?
Michael
No.
Vick.
Shit.
Victor Cruz.
Victor Cruz.
That's
Damn it.
right.
That's
Okay.
not Victor Cruz.
I also have the description now if we want to go for it. All right, here we go.
Hit us up.
On the heels of the most viewed season in 5 years, the 12th season of America's Got Talent is back and premiered to even higher audience numbers with creator and judge Simon Cowell, Mel B, Heidi Klum, and Howie Mandel.
Wait.
Can we talk about this?
Supermodel entrepreneur and CEO Tyra Banks joins the team as host, and the series returns to Los Angeles with live shows from the famed Dolby Theater.
Can we talk about this description real quick?
Please do.
Yes.
It sounds like a Donald Trump tweet. Talking all about those ratings.
Those crowd sizes.
Just
the
like,
biggest crowd ever.
coming on the heels of the greatest crowd of all time. It's...
We don't have any facts to say that it's not the largest crowd of all time.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like...
All right, so this is the #1 rated show
It
on
must
network
be.
TV.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
On all of network TV
Yeah, it was the #1
It's
show.
a
last
monster, for sure.
this week, not for
week.
like
Like
the
last
whole
week.
year.
Yeah.
Okay, I went for the whole year. It's
The-
I don't know what it is.
It
for the
is
whole
the
year,
most
but-
popular show that is on currently on network TV.
currently on network TV. Got
Yeah.
it. That's still impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about If You Are the One? 50 million viewers.
Is it on network TV? American network TV. I guess we gotta say.
No.
Well, I don't know. Is there a Chinese network TV? Like when you define network TV, how do you
I
define?
I don't
think-
really know a lot about the TV industry in China. I don't know if any of us really know about the TV industry in China.
If anyone does, it's Max. But I think if we got a stat saying America's Got Talent is the #1 show on network TV, I'm gonna throw it out there. That was American network TV.
Yeah.
Well, because I think you define network TV as American network.
Wait, you
What's
mean
the
there's
largest-
a world outside
Yeah.
America?
So I've heard.
Whoa.
But like, is it safe to assume that America is like the largest TV audience?
I don't think that's safe to assume.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of other countries.
I mean,
like a shitload of people.
So
with TVs.
if You Are the One is also the Australian name for the Chinese show and
Yes.
not the actual name of the Chinese show.
I'm referring to it with that name, but yes. The Chinese name...
Good clarification.
I just want to point out that If You Are the One is not watched by 50 million people because that's the Australian version of the show.
Fair.
And I don't know what the ratings are for that, but it's probably not very high.
Let's stop talking about weird Chinese television and talk about America's Got Talent.
Way to
Did
bring
you
it
know
back.
that none of the judges for America's Got Talent are American?
Right. It's not judges. America's Got Judges. It's America's Got Talent.
It's just foreigners judge Americans.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So do you think that one year maybe you can come on and try to be a panelist. Like your talent is you want to be a panelist, and maybe you could get yourself.
Oh my god, I would love to do that.
Simon's buzzing you out so fast.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not getting on my corner.
So how does that go? You like roll on the stage. You're like, all right, I'm going to start judging people.
Yeah, I don't know.
well, no. So you get on the stage, and you just walk over to the judges, and you say, "How we get out of the way?" And he's like, "I don't know what he's doing, but okay." And you take your seat, and then he's like, "Bring on the next person."
Yeah, then you judge them afterwards, or you could bring on somebody else that you can judge.
I feel like the show really likes to play with the rules.
Yeah, I feel like producers might be okay with that one.
They're fast and loose.
I mean, in 12 seasons, you gotta.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any acts that they really want to talk about? Because like, we can't talk about all the acts. It's too much.
I have one.
We shouldn't talk about all the acts.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't remember all the acts. So
Well, I want
like,
to talk about
couldn't-
two.
Go, James.
Which are
just so you know,
related
we
ones,
had
which I think
we
you
had
guys
14 acts.
Holy shit.
Well,
I'm a little
it's
exhausted
long
after
show.
this. I'm not going
Yeah.
to lie to you.
And we got to talk about the fact that like this show we watched it without commercials. And it was an hour and a half. It's it's a thing to get through.
It's
I will say, really quick hot take, it was quite fun to watch with a group of people.
It was entertaining.
Yeah, like I was pretty entertained.
It's a lot of TV, but I was never bored. They're pretty quick to move around. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could do with some of the like without some of the in between stuff.
So you want America's Got Talent, Kai?
Yeah. Obviously, we talk about it every week. Yes, I want reality Kai.
There was not a lot of recappy stuff in this.
There was a ton of hey, check out what's coming next.
There was the looking forward to get you hooked to like not change the channel, but there wasn't a lot of looking back.
I feel like if I was watching this with commercials, I'd have a pretty big urge to just walk away.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it's just like
there's no continuity between the breaks, so it doesn't really hook you to like hang around for the break, right?
And I was a similar thought that like the show is entertaining. I don't think anything about the show would make me be like, oh, I gotta watch next week. It'd be like it's this kind of show. It's like, oh, this is on, okay, but I have trouble seeing this as like appointment television that you gotta stay up to date on.
So this whole auditions thing is just kind of the first stage of the show. So basically they do all these auditions and then they go to LA and do a bunch of live shows where the country votes on it, right? Is that kind of like
let me give you an
the end of this
update
thing?
on how the
Like,
let me give you an
playthrough,
update on
right?
how the auditions work.
Okay.
Because it was confusing to I think all of us, but especially me, that the judges' clothes kept changing in between different things, and so like we thought this was kind of like American Idol. We're like, oh, they're in one city, and it was all for that day. But what really happens is, so they do auditions in a bunch of cities. So apparently this season the auditions were in Chicago, Austin, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Philadelphia, Las Vegas, San Diego, Charleston, Memphis, and LA. None of that is televised. Then they pick people, they fly them all out to LA
Whoa.
for a bunch of days,
Right.
and that's all we see. So all the stuff we saw was filmed in March.
So when they're showing like those big rooms of people like waiting to get in, is that happening in LA or in like Cincinnati?
That I'm not sure.
Okay.
But so like they showed a thing that's like if you want to audition for America's Got Talent, go here.
Yeah.
I think we're wrong. I think they're done for this season. You're auditioning for next season.
for next
at
season.
this point, and it's because like they don't have Simon out at the Cincinnati audition. Like they've got some producers
Just
out
have
there.
producers, yeah.
They're picking some good ones. They're picking some crummy ones, and they're picking the ones that are going to be flown out to LA to actually perform for the real judges.
Man.
Okay, so when are the performances in LA actually happening? Is that
So
in
apparently
March?
they happened in March.
Okay.
So all
So-
all the shows we're seeing now in the audition section are in the can, and then I think once they narrow it down to like the top whatever, then they're going to have more. They're actually going to have live shows with sort of voting and stuff like that.
So all these people who are into the next round like knew back in March, but that next round isn't going to happen until like July.
I think so.
Okay, so they've had time to maybe work on some new stuff for their act, because there are a bunch of these people who you kind of see and you're like, I can't imagine how they're going to come up with another one of these like for next week or whatever.
Right.
But they've had months to start working on this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
But then you've got to come up with like use multiple rounds. There's not just
yeah.
one more week. There's like
but like when
10 more weeks.
But like when you know you're going to be on this thing, whatever, you take your vacation, you know, quit your job or whatever, and then you just work on building acts, knowing that you're going to have like 3 to 5 of these in your back pocket. Like,
Are you assuming they do that when you make the audition? So you're like, hey, you're gonna make it. You're going out to LA. Then you're like, okay, I got to get all this shit together.
I'm saying when they know that they're going to be in the live televised
Right.
part of it,
Right.
and they know that they have from March until July to work on their act, you're going to be working on that act.
Not when you're just rolling up to the like local Jacksonville
No.
audition. You're
No,
like,
no,
let
no.
me get all the, yeah. 'Cause
At
I'm
that-
sure like thousands of fucking people show up.
But
for
I
that.
mean, the people that make it through have been working for a long time on that one particular act. So like
Right.
the thing about the show is like these people are like have really honed in this one thing in this one routine, but they've had forever to work on it effectively.
Yeah.
But now they're
It's
asked to
realistically
reproduce it, right?
most likely the best thing that they'll ever do.
Right, because they've been working
Unless
on it for a
they
long
have
time.
like, I feel like at this show they'll have like producers help you make a better show
Yeah.
later on, and that's why you got better, not because the stuff you're doing is any better than you did when you first started.
Well, that's actually what I was wondering because I had thought, and I've never really watched the show like consistently. It's more just been like, oh, the show's on, I'll watch it with friends or family or whatever. But like my understanding was like towards the end, like there's people helping you kind of build this out, or like
Yeah.
if you're a
I'm
singer, there's coaches trying to be like, hey, like maybe you should go in this direction or like sing some of these types of songs. It's better for your like type.
I'm sure immediately after you're picked,
Right.
a producer is assigned to you to help, as long as they think you're a good person.
Mhm.
Like if they picked you and you're like a bad person, I doubt that they have you a producer with
They're just
you.
like, you should do crazier shit.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is like if you make it to like the live rounds,
right.
there's a decent chance you're gonna make it. I don't know. Maybe there's like a cutoff. Maybe producers get to have like a pick who they want to go with.
Man.
At the beginning, like some sort of Hunger Games situation.
Phew. I just can't stop thinking about the fact that like from this local audition, they're knowingly picking people that aren't like very good, just for like the value of like this will be funny on TV, and so
Yeah.
like it must be crazy to be one of those people. And like I just can't imagine if you know or don't know, or if like you really think you're good, but you're like
They know they're not good.
right.
Like
They know
based on,
that.
based on the people we saw, they know.
You think? They
Yeah, there
know?
wasn't any like midway people that we saw. They were either like bad or like good.
I would
can
argue
think of
that I think
one
the dog
midway.
person.
Yeah.
The dog is the only one that the judges were not 100% unanimous on.
I feel like even then it's just like unique, so that gets sent through. But if you're like mediocre singer
Oh,
or
okay.
like magician, like
Yeah.
you don't get sent through.
Oh, that's not true. The crazy, acrobats on the ground thing, also the judges were not unanimous on.
yeah, because it was unique. So it's either unique or really good.
Right.
I would love to talk about those acrobats for a second.
Please do.
Because that was amazing. I think that maybe those are the two that James wanted to talk about, though.
Which acrobats are you talking about?
I'm talking
There's
about
multiple
The
acrobat
the
talents.
acrobats
The
that were rolling
insane
around on the
ones.
floor.
So the couple.
Oh
that's
no.
married.
Okay.
The married one or the floor?
I was
people?
talking about the married couple.
Okay,
No,
let's
no.
talk about the married
We
one.
were
Go ahead,
talking.
sum it up.
Rob was referring to
Yeah.
the floor.
Oh,
acrobats.
gotcha.
the
Yes,
married
right.
couple,
Do you wanna-
the judges were unanimous on. I just brought up the floor one because the judges weren't unanimous.
Right,
on.
right.
So
let's talk about the other gymnasts. The married
Yes. So the
couple.
other gymnasts, I do not know their actual names.
One is named Maxim.
One is named Maxim.
Yes.
Okay, so that's
I
the
think
dude.
The other one's
so the-
Maria.
Maria. Okay. So basically, there's this husband and wife combo who both do this sort of what I'll describe, and probably incorrectly, but sort of Cirque du Soleil like esque types of performance, which is
What? Cirque du what?
Cirque du Soleil.
I think the first thing you said translates to circus of oil.
I don't know, man.
I think it was Circus
Is it
of
French?
the Eye.
Is it
Oh,
French?
yeah.
I don't know how the shit
It's
that word is.
Cirque du Soleil, which is French for Circus of the Sun.
As we all know, I don't have a ton of appreciation for the French language, so it's whatever it is.
oh man,
It's whatever.
we're burning the French right now. What's going on?
It's just a hard language. I don't know how to speak it.
So,
I don't know what the words
English
are.
is a hard language. French,
Sure.
it's probably easier.
Okay.
French
Not when
pronunciation
you don't know
isn't
it.
easy.
Okay.
That's like saying Chinese is an easier language, but not if you don't know it.
No, Chinese is pretty hard.
Oh, okay. That one's hard, everybody.
All right, so we got
Okay.
the Cirque du Olay.
Whatever the hell the
You got
Vegas
the-
performers are.
You got the husband and wife who are not performing together because they were incapable of working together, apparently. That's
I
what they
think it's
said.
part of their bit.
Yeah.
But like they
Yeah.
come out and they're like,
They're
they're not a
competitive.
husband-wife team. They're two separate acts that are
Right.
both going to try to get through.
Yeah. I don't really know else how to describe this at this point because I'm kind of off in the weeds on this French
So
word.
it's like the first
nonsense.
The first guy, just like he's got a table and all these chairs, and you just start stacking the chairs up in kind of insane ways, and that you think the chairs are definitely going to fall over, and he's climbing them as he goes, and people have to like hand him the chairs like with these long poles. He's so high up.
Yeah.
And then when he gets to the top and he's like on this crazy chair tower, then he just starts doing acrobat tricks at the top of the tower. So that seems pretty impressive.
It was very impressive. He was doing a bunch of balancing. He was like,
And,
I don't know.
And he
like
had some good
7, 8 chairs
showmanship.
high,
He had some good showmanship.
stacked.
He had an insane suit and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So you
Well,
think,
the first part of that too, he was like on like he was probably like 6 chairs tall.
Oh, yeah.
And then like they're not attached or anything; they're just stacked. And
Yeah.
he's just wiggling around and moving around the stage on them.
Oh yeah,
to,
and
like, position
He was
them.
repositioning them from like 3
and
chairs
then
up.
stacks additional chairs in other complicated ways.
It was
and
nuts.
doing some crazy,
Very impressive.
balancing
Extremely precarious.
stuff. Oh yeah, I think the best way to describe the show is like really just nerve wracking. That any point in time he's just gonna fall and eat it and just completely wreck himself.
I think someone said, "Has anyone ever died in America's Got Talent?"
Oh, I
in the
might
middle
have
of
said
his-
that.
in the middle of his performance.
Like the way his performance was, like it was totally in the face. Of, like if something goes wrong, this is not going to be very good at all. Like it's going to be really bad. And I think that was his whole bit was like everyone just kind of on the edge of their chairs, which clearly happened. Like the whole crowd was like
He was
really
definitely
dramatic.
on the edge of the chairs.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Damn it!
He was definitely one of the top acts of the night.
So yeah, like and yeah, I think that's
So then he's
that's about
done.
that one.
And then you
So
think-
he's done. He gets 4 yeses. Everyone's into
Yeah.
it. They're like, yeah, moving on.
And you think, how's the wife going to top that? That seemed pretty good.
And it was also unclear before the wife started, like what her act was.
right.
And then she comes out.
You
Then she
never
comes
know what
out.
the acts are.
And James, tell us
Right.
about her.
Well, so firstly, she's pretty attractive. So then she comes out and she takes off her bottom piece or whatever.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Well, she had on like some kind of
na-
dress.
She's just naked?
Well, she definitely had on some kind of dress, and then like I don't know, it was like a onesie, I guess, but like it looked like a full dress. And she took like the bottom part off, like the skirt part off.
And
Right.
she's naked.
She's not naked.
Oh.
Onesie.
Like some kind of
one.
onesie, as I previously said.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying
just
to remember how
going
she
to
starts
clarify.
out, but like basically just starts doing insane balance things / contortionist.
Yeah.
And it's some of the most insane body movements I've ever seen. And at some point, I basically just made the comment, which is they must have amazing sex because you got these two like balance experts / contortionists, and the things that she was doing and he were doing. If you combine those two, it was just be insane.
The judges were commenting. There's like it's like, oh, your husband's a very lucky man. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
They were.
Heidi was definitely
man.
on the same wavelength as James for that one.
So James is missing a big part of this final act, which is sort of the lady starts off like balancing herself with 2 hands.
Right.
Then she starts balancing on just 1 hand, and that's very impressive. And then she sort of attaches some module to her like sort of stripper pole situation that looks sort of like a thing that you could clamp your teeth onto.
Right.
And then she is balancing on a thing that she is
She
biting
clamps her teeth
on.
onto it,
It's
bites it.
fucking insane. And then
Right.
she's like doing weird movements on it. That was
I can't even describe what it looked like, and just in the room, everyone was just just screaming because it was the craziest thing ever to watch her do that thing. Like
Yeah, it was
I have
essentially.
never seen anything like it.
she
Yeah.
basically like bites down in this like it's basically like a thing that looks like the thing that like doctors like take a mold of your teeth with, and she kind of like
Yeah.
bites down on it, and then like puts her.
Well, starts by balancing.
Yeah,
And then,
like puts her legs like over the top of her head, and like the only thing that's touching anything is her teeth and her mouth. Like that must be horrible for your.
Yeah, like she's basically
Mouth?
looking at her ankles.
Yeah.
Because she's bent her back and legs all over herself, and she's just holding on by her teeth.
yeah.
Was so crazy.
It was just like essentially like a reverse C, like where your feet going over your like your back arched, and then over your face, and then further down past that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Her dentist cannot be happy, or maybe super happy. She's going in for dental work constantly.
Does she? How many of her real teeth does she still have?
I bet that she's had some dental situations practicing to do this thing because there's no like it's so crazy.
Do you think they're like some kind of titanium teeth?
I do wonder if she has something on
Like a mouth
like
guard?
her like her teeth are kind of reinforced or something a bit. Like
I
maybe
don't
there's
know.
like some dentures or something happening.
What is the origin story of this performance? Like, where you're obviously a contortionist and gymnast. You got some skills. At what point do you be like, I got to bring the teeth into this.
Oh man, you're just looking for that next insane thing to do.
Well, they do as their day job? Like, are they performers in like Vegas already? Like, where do you perform these kind of? What are skills they have? Where do you hone them, and then what do you use them for?
I don't know. The word stripper pole has already been thrown out here.
So
Maybe,
it was
Cirque du
not
Soleil.
a stripper pole, but it's the closest analog I have.
I mean, you think the dude is a stripper too?
No,
He didn't look that attractive.
The dude works in a furniture warehouse.
Did I say that?
Oh, he's just stacking chairs all day.
Yeah, exactly. He's all day stacking chairs. He's like, I got to make this more interesting, and he just kept working at it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is probably not their full-time thing. Like, it's not like the guy. I mean, it was impressive, but it's like really good street performer level. Like,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be crazy to see somebody doing that in the street. Like, I feel like I've seen
I don't
people
know if
doing
I've ever
crazy
seen-
chair balancing stuff like that on the street before.
I've seen stuff that was really long line that had that same comment during the show, which is like, this feels like a really good street performance.
Yeah, and like I've definitely, like
Not to knock it, like it was good,
Yeah.
but like it feels like it's the kind of thing you could pick up in like your spare time and do in like small performances and things.
I don't know.
for sure. And
I'm just saying, if you had those skills, which are quite rare,
The
like,
balancing skills.
yeah,
or-
what he was doing, like not a lot of people could do that.
it's true. But where do you take those talents?
I got some
I guess
more.
you take him to Cirque du Soleil or something like that.
Yeah.
But like,
That's
I
why
don't know.
I don't know. I just
Yeah.
didn't know if there's anything other than Cirque du Soleil where like those skills would be useful.
I got some really good lore for you guys. I haven't looked up the wife yet, but I looked up the guy. Maxim Popazov is a producer and artist of Nikolin Circus, who is the part of the seventh generation of the 150-year-old world-famous Popazov Koch Russian circus dynasty.
circus people. Okay.
Circus Dynasty.
Circus dynasty.
Ooh.
I've never heard of a circus dynasty.
So she clearly must also be in the circus. Like that's how
Well,
they met.
that's how obviously
Times
how
are,
they
right.
met.
Times
Yeah.
are tough in the circus business, though. Ringling Brothers just closed down. Like,
That's why
Are
I
there
get on
other
America's Got
circuses?
Talent.
Cirque
Yeah.
du Soleil is doing fine.
Yeah, I feel like Cirque du Soleil is not a circus. It's not like, I don't know.
It's-
It's just like a big acrobatics performance set to music. A circus is like you got lions, you got a bunch of crazy shit.
There is
Tight
acrobatic
ropes
stuff
and,
too,
like-
but like I do agree. Usually a circus
It's
implies there's
definitely
like animals.
You got
and,
trapeze,
elephants and whatnot.
tightrope
Got the
walking,
clowns.
Oh,
you
yeah,
got
there's
some-
definitely clowns implied.
You got someone riding a motorcycle around in a big metal sphere, something like that. A lot of stuff.
So question: if a Russian gymnast wins America's Got Talent, does Trump tweet about it?
Here's the one. Yes. No. Probably no. It's just like, what are you
Depends.
talking about?
Does Fox and Friends talk about it? Then maybe.
It's on NBC, so no.
Is he watching the show?
Two. So,
I don't think it's on his DVR.
Oh shit.
follow-up question: do you think Russia is going to try and interfere with the America's Got Talent voting to try and
Oh.
boost these people up?
100%.
Yo, the last time we, sort of guessed about, is reality television going to get fucked by Russia? We guessed right.
When was that?
We predicted
real world?
Donald Trump would be president
Oh.
before he ever announced his.
Oh no, that's
candidacy.
definitely true. Go with the
I don't think
tape.
we were predicting Russia was going to interfere with the elections in that Celebrity Apprentice podcast.
Fast and loose. Fast and loose.
Hashtag fake news.
Hashtag fake news.
So maybe we should talk about the other act, the
other
other
one,
gymnast
yeah.
act, or
Oh yeah.
where
the
they
sideways
had
ones,
Yeah.
or like the floor ones.
the floor ones.
Yeah.
So they had these people that were like they're on the floor and they had a camera on them with the screen, and they were like acting in a way that made them look like they were balancing on each other on the screen, but they were really on the floor, so they could play with gravity, which I've seen happen just like not live per se, but like in like shorts. They kind of look like they're hand animated, but they're not. And this was really cool to see live, and they had like a cool shtick.
It's definitely cool to see it live. I feel like you see a lot of this kind of stuff like for stop motion videos on YouTube, but it's pretty cool.
With the big thing to me, just to make sure it's clear, is like it was a top-down camera.
Yeah.
These dudes are like horizontal on the floor, and so like it's showing that like top-down view. I definitely agree there. I'm not sure that I agree with the shtick being very cool, but
I thought the shtick was better than a lot of things people have
So-
in here.
Can we go to the shtick? Because
Let's go to the shtick.
We thought that they were putting on fake accents, or I thought they were putting on fake accents before the performance. After the performance, I'm less sure about the fake accents.
I think the fake accents were part of the performance. I just don't quite understand why.
Because like it seemed like they were really committing to something big with all these alternative personas, and it feels like it ended up not being related really to the content of the performance.
Well, it was an Olympics thing, so like
Yeah.
Olympics international.
Yeah.
It
Something.
definitely felt like they were trying to get like a Three Stooges kind of vibe because it was like silent and there's like a lot of slapsticky kind of humor. Clearly nowhere close to Three Stooges.
Howie was on your vibe. He said they're the next Three Stooges,
They're
which
nowhere
I
near
thought, that was a bold move by Howie.
I
So
said Three
bold.
Stooges vibe, not anywhere near Three Stooges, but like
Not
they
the
didn't.
next Three Stooges.
Definitely not. Not
Maybe.
even close.
There's a reboot I don't want to see.
They made a movie.
Three Stooges.
Recently?
Yeah,
Three Stooges.
Johnny
is
Knoxville.
It's pretty hard to watch present day. I don't know. It's kind of.
I've actually don't think I've ever watched like a full like Three Stooges skit.
It's not terrible. It's just like we have much better entertainment nowadays.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I like the golf episode of the Three Stooges where they totally hack up a golf course. Aside from that, just because I'm a golf fan, like that's the big one. I don't know that whole.
I don't really have a lot to say.
That's really the
about
only one like I feel like I've seen.
about this act. I'm trying
So
to bring it back.
Simon,
Yeah.
Simon really hated these guys.
Yeah, but they made it to the next round, right?
I mean, there's 4 judges, and they all vote yes or no. You need 3 yeses to go through. And so even though Simon was out, Heidi, Mel B, and Howie were all in, so they get to go around.
The thing I think we need to see out of them in the next round is they need to have like totally different looks and personas and just
Yeah.
come into this thing and theme is totally different. You can have the same kind of camera trickery bit,
agree.
but like I feel like if they come in and sell it as totally different personas, it's yeah.
Yeah, no,
That
that's
would be
definitely got to be part of what they're doing, because
Yeah.
it was definitely the shtick is part of what got them through.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the one thing that was great with them was like they were showing the audience reactions, and the first little bit they had these great cuts to the audience, and I'm just like, what the hell is this? Like
Yeah.
no one kind of knew what was going on, but then I think when it actually started, it sort of helped them. They're like, oh, I see what they're going for. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, I actually completely disagree. I want to see them be creative and come up with a completely different act that could be sort of a similar nature.
Same
That-
shtick though.
Maybe I don't love this shtick, but like I want to see something different than the running
Than the
camera
like top down
thing.
kind
Yeah.
of thing. Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think they have anything other than the top down.
That seems like that's their thing.
their thing.
That's the whole reason why they got through. I mean,
And
the
maybe
sh-
why
and
they
the
need the
shtick.
shtick.
I suspect
The
these
stick
guys
has nothing to do with it.
I suspect they were sent by the producers thinking that they were going to fail, and then they didn't.
I sort of agree with you. I definitely
I don't
thought it was
know.
a hard and fast fail, and I was very surprised that it wasn't.
How do you think the arrangements for like the onstage setups and props work? Because like these guys had a very large size onstage setup with that huge TV cutout thing
Yeah.
that like they had to work with the show to get hooked up, and like if they thought they were just like a joke act, I don't know if they would have gone to those kind
They
of lengths.
probably had their own setup in Cincinnati or wherever the hell they were. And then, you know,
Shipped
when
it
they
out.
come to when they come to LA, they're like, "Oh, we'll just have it set up for you."
But it was just a screen behind them, right? In the top down camera. Like, is it really that
Hello
complicated?
frame, right?
Yeah,
Well, but that's just a on screen border, right?
no, it was like a physical frame to make it look like it was like a TV, basically. I think
okay.
something like that. I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, like if that's their whole thing, it's not unreasonable for them to just have that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if that's like their bit,
But
is like we're
what-
gonna have this thing.
Where would you go to see that bit? Like you see him,
America's Got Talent.
like,
Yeah.
You would-
like
you would-
that's it. Like where
You would
going?
you go to YouTube to see that bit.
Right.
So you think these guys in their garage have this set up, so they filmed this to go to YouTube?
I think that these guys are from a bunch of YouTube videos, and they decided to just try to do it on America's Got Talent.
Huh? Yeah.
I don't know for sure.
But the thing is, if you're doing a YouTube video, like you can take as many takes as you want. You can try to figure it out. They had to do it live, one
live
take.
piece.
You know that's impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
So, but like, I do kind of feel like the show does choreograph which ones are going to be good, which ones ones aren't. And the thing with these guys is like anyone that has kind of even a half decent kind of prop setup is good. Like, And I don't know how like that holds up episode to episode, but like all the people that were like buzzed out had like very minimal sort of setup needed.
Yeah, like that, like the Great Hoover, whatever that guy came out with, just a bunch
Just a
of
table of
Just
table
a table, a
and
bunch of
nothing.
random stuff.
Yeah,
Or just like the cop singer who just has a mic and that's it. You know,
Yeah,
it's
for
not
sure.
like some of the ones with no props are good, but like if you have like a sort of complicated setup, then it seems like, oh, this is gonna be like good enough to get through.
it's
at
like,
least.
oh, they thought it was worth spending money to get this whole thing set up here. Like, it's probably not going to be just a meh.
I feel
Yeah.
like that one was kind of close though.
It was.
It was.
So do you think the same for like the one with the I don't know, the Gasper? What was that guy? The artist name where they did the suit on Heidi with the
Oh
projection
yeah,
stuff?
Oscar and Gasper,
Okay, yeah.
That
who were
was
not there.
Because like
very
that must have
interesting.
taken some time to like get Heidi in the thing and get her in the right spot and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that
I
one-
almost wonder if they test run that thing too.
I also wonder like how did
They
they,
definitely have a spot for her to stand on and how
Right.
she's standing. And there's definitely before the show they'll. say
I'm not sure that those guys are real contestants.
Oh, tell
What
us
do you
more.
think? Yeah, go on.
Because I think that, like, so sure, like they have this whatever, like they have some Banksy type person who's calling them and actually doing this stuff. They're probably doing it, whatever. I'm not even worried about that part of it. But like, in order to actually like design that thing and do it, like they need all of Heidi's dimensions. They need this custom made suit for her. They need her to come to a rehearsal and do this thing. Like that was not her first time doing it.
Yeah, she definitely stood really still. For a
So
really
she
long
knew
time.
it was going on. It was not her first time doing it. So like they're going to great lengths to make this act happen for these people. So like I'm wondering what the situation is, and I'm also wondering what they did.
Shit, it's not real. The
And
whole show's
also-
not real. Damn it, Harrison! You just ruined America's Got Talent.
And I'm also wondering what they did in the city tryout before this one that we saw.
That's what I was going to get to because they obviously
Like-
didn't have Heidi Klum for that.
So like, did they just bring one of their own people in a suit? Is like the proof of concept, and then there's like, but we really want to do it on Heidi Klum. Was
Or-
it something totally different, or like?
So my theory was they're real contestants who roll in with this like concept, and then the producers are like, "We like it. What if on the real show we will get Heidi Klum to do it?"
and then,
And so the producers are the ones who deal with getting the right outfit and getting Heidi Klum's measurements and being like, "Heidi, this is what you got to do," and they don't even tell Heidi Klum everything. Like they're gonna bring you on stage. We got this other you put on that costume we had you try on earlier, and you just go back out. You just stand there. It's not gonna be bad. Don't worry. We're not. This is not punked.
Right.
And
And just
then
like you just stand there
It's,
and
it's
and
not
then,
like
like,
it's
but-
complicated.
But it's the
Yeah.
producers who were like had the idea to kind of make Heidi part of it. I
That
I
could
wonder
be.
if that's the way it goes.
I mean, that's definitely that's the only other way it happens.
Because I do wonder, like, what was their city audition in Cincinnati like?
I would guess that they had one of their people in the suit, and they probably did it that way.
I want like
If it's
you'd have
real.
one of those three guys in the suit because like the three guys were doing nothing. They were just like, yeah,
Here's
here's the thing.
Did it bother anybody else that like when they were critiquing or commenting on the act that like they were giving the feedback to these three guys that basically don't have any
They are the guys,
right? Like I think we all agree that they are the actual guys, and this whole like people that don't like to be appeared on TV thing is like a thing,
Yeah.
like a joke thing, or not a joke, but like just part of their shtick.
Well, it's probably
But-
like it could be like another person, part of the crew that just like lives in the Ukraine or something. That just he just does some of the tech stuff.
So
but
I
like
kinda-
those three people don't need to be there. Arguably, like you need one person there to just be
Yeah.
like, "Here's the thing, Heidi. Can you put this suit on? All right, cool."
So I kind of rushed through the explanation of this, but just for the listeners and kind of like what this whole situation was. Like basically, they have like some mystery, like artist guy behind the scenes who's dictating like what these performances are going to be. So like they're showing them before the show, like having like a phone call with these mystery dudes and like all this kind of stuff. So it's kind of
Yeah,
yeah.
It was all play and like
yeah. But it was kind of bothering me like when they were giving the critique. It wasn't like they had the dude on the phone or like they recorded them. They were just giving the critique to these three random dudes that really didn't do shit. Like
I don't know.
who knows what they, I don't know. But I don't know. It was kind
I'm
of
curious. I would love to see this with more people and
Yeah.
in motion. Like,
Oh, yeah.
one person was, but like if you get more people with more of like a like
Well, they
setup,
do gotta ramp it up. Like if they're gonna keep progressing, they gotta do more in the next one.
Like-
so
You get multiple people in some kind of like a choreographed routine with this kind of stuff on it, and like you could do some really crazy stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Right. And that was essentially like kind of my like thought when I was like watching this was some band will just pick this up and make it part of their show. Like they're just gonna do this projection on people in suits.
Yeah.
And it just becomes like an act.
Do you even need it to be on a person in a suit though? Just have like a
This is on a screen.
cutout.
There's some niceness from the 3D-ness of like the person.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And like the immediacy which you can switch to like you seeing the actual person to like it being something insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely you can play with it a little more. I do like that it's like the material she was wearing that made it like really bright,
Yeah. It's
Like,
like
it was
glossy.
really bright, like better than like a screen generally. It looked like
Yeah.
It's that
was
high
nuts.
glass white latex suit.
it's like that Cast AR that just got shut down. It looked a lot like that kind of like just like reflective display. I don't know. Anyone else got another act they want to talk about? There's a
Not
couple. Like, what was the act that somebody had to beg to get people to the dog? It was the dog act.
The dog.
Just the dog.
Yeah.
So
I had to cry.
So one woman came on, and her act is basically she has her dog trained to do tricks while she's carrying a sword, and so like she's fighting the dog with the sword, and all this
All to the
tricks.
Pirates of the Caribbean theme.
And all the Pirates of the Caribbean theme. And then Howie and Mel were out. Heidi and Simon were in. Simon was so in, he gets up on stage and he peer pressures Howie to change his vote. And so the girl gets 3 yeses and she gets through.
I was pretty surprised that Simon was as passionate as he was about this act.
Simon must love dogs, man.
Yeah.
He's like, all those damn singers I listen to with no dogs, I finally get a dog thing I can judge. This is amazing. And then he was not going to let this dog thing go away
That must be it.
This is really going to pay off when they reboot American Idol.
without him.
Just get on there and sing my heart out, but I'll also have a dog, and I'll get a yes.
Oh, we'll get you on.
Okay.
That'll be great for the show.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just better live, but
That
like,
one must have been better live.
Because on TV, it was just like
I don't think that
how
one
it was
translated.
filmed or whatever. They cut like a million times. They cut
Yeah.
so many times. I couldn't get like a good feel for like the space and what the dog was doing, what she was doing, because they just kept cutting to different angles.
I really wonder what she's gonna do to kind of ramp it up the next round. Like I don't know how you. What else?
She has Howie Mandel or like
Simon.
Simon's personal producer to get her ready for the next round.
I've seen some trained dogs do some insane shit on YouTube. I'm sure she can come up with something.
So how long do you think it takes to train a dog to do a routine like that?
I think it takes a while.
Because like
As someone who doesn't know.
Because if she survives the first week of this, like, this is why I'm saying this prep time between March and July becomes very important. Because, like, she's really going to have to train this dog to do many more routines if she's actually gonna be...
And much better routines.
Yeah, for sure.
Stuff that actually has to be good on TV.
Well, I think the dog knows a bunch of tricks, so then it's just a matter of how you string them together, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you're just starting from scratch.
Yeah,
No,
but how do
definitely not.
you distinguish what you're doing to signal the dog to do some trick?
And,
I don't know.
Like,
dog
and
trainer.
you're also going to have to teach that dog new tricks every week.
What?
Oh, that was a good one, Harrison.
Because, like, you know... the audience is going to need to see something different. Like, it's not going to be cool to just see the dog doing that same trick every week.
How
you
many
know?
different kind of tricks can a dog do?
What if they're banking just on the dog lover vote?
Yeah.
There's these people at home who be
That
like,
could
I
be.
love dogs. I'm voting for the dog. I'm all in on the dog.
Like, that is definitely in play now that the judges have let this person through. Like,
Yeah.
that part of it is definitely in play now.
Yep. I'm curious, does anyone of all the acts we saw, is there anyone that you feel strongly will like make it through, like to like I don't know what the format like the rest of the show is, but like near to the end, like kind of the finals?
I
or whatever that
think
is?
I think Team Man Bun was looking pretty good.
Team Mambo was looking really good. I think that Lil Johnny was looking pretty good.
he
Which one's Little
have
Johnny
some good
again?
singing.
Oh,
was
Little
Johnny
Bow Wow
Man-
guy.
Yeah.
Johnny Manuel.
Yeah, Johnny Manuel. Yeah,
He's not going by Little Johnny anymore.
not by Lil Johnny.
To
But
clarify.
apparently,
Just like Bow Wow. He dropped the
apparently in
Lil.
like the 90s or early 2000s, he used to be a singer that went by Lil Johnny, and it didn't really work out.
And he opened for Lil
as
Bow
well.
Wow.
Open
Yeah.
for Lil Bow Wow. Now he's back.
But yeah, he really threw down singing wise. It was real good.
The singers are all good, I thought.
I
I do
like,
think, yeah, I agree.
I feel like the singers generally like probably can go farther. I don't know how previous seasons have gone, but like it's so easy.
There's a lot
to-
more versatility there.
Yeah, I feel the Nessun Dorma guy can go far. The opera singer,
Oh yeah, he was. He was good.
definitely.
Carlo? Was his name Carlo?
Carlos
Not
or
Carlos?
Carlo.
They kept calling him Carlo.
It was
with no
Carlo.
S.
It was Carlo.
Alright.
Carlo.
I
Yeah,
feel like
he's
the
Italian, I think.
15-year-old magician might go a
Oh.
ways, but
What about Naked Magician?
I think 15-year-old magician
I didn't like his act. I didn't think it was very good.
is not
but
going to go that far.
People like like kids doing stuff, so I don't know.
The thing with the magicians was like, so we saw 2 magicians, and we saw like a glimpse of at least one more magician. I'm just imagining like how many damn magicians does like Mel B have to like pretend to be shocked they put something in her hand for,
Yeah.
and just be like, oh, another magician. I can't deal with this anymore.
The-
Like I feel like it's gotta
sure.
wear, and so. Even though some of the magicians with good shtick, either because they get naked or because like they're a 15-year-old
I
kid
can't
and they're
believe
doing
the
good for their
naked one
age.
went through.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean
but I feel
yeah.
like that's not gonna get you to like the final round.
But like the good thing about coming on that show as a magician is that there are known good ways like to scale that act up. Like you can move from cards to like some crazy escape illusion thing, and it's still kind of in your.
It's
in your
also
realm.
like a
you get that
tried
budget.
and true tested thing on the show. I've seen a couple of episodes every now and then, and there's always a magician on. They're always getting the judges involved. Like
Broadly-
that's just what you do.
broadly accepted stage art, right?
Yeah.
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 I feel like the dancing acts had a hard time. I wonder, like, does anyone know, like,
There-
through
was
back,
there
like, is there
any?
any dancers that do well on this? 'Cause, like, it seems
so-
like
Yes.
it's a really poor.
I watched some insane YouTube clip from I guess it was a previous week of America's Got Talent on Facebook recently of some dance group that was out of control good. Like so there's definitely good ones on
this.
there.
Yeah, this week had like no good dancers.
But that was a dance group, so like
It was a group.
I think like I'm specifically putting in like the solo dance. Like I feel like that is such a hard format to like show up and just throw down as a solo dancer.
They
Like,
just
at least of a
needed-
group if you're choreographed, like it looks all right.
Well, I mean, you just take the gymnast on the stripper pole and like just that was kind of like a dance.
yeah, but very different.
That was a nuts dance, dude. As
It was like choreographed to music. Like what?
Sure.
Like
I
what do you want? This is
understand.
gonna be
Basically,
quick.
I'm saying like the people that show up and like, hey, like I just want to be a dancer. Then like show up and start dancing. You're like, what's going on
Well,
here?
all
You
the
have
ones
to
this
be-
week were bad dancers, but I
Sure.
bet there's like if you're a good dancer and you got to have something about your act that stands out.
Mhm.
You could probably do it, but it's probably better to be in a group if you're doing a dance thing.
I feel like to just get up there and just be a solo dancer just to music, you have to be like an Usher level dancer.
I like that. That's your
think
go-to
that,
reference.
like Usher,
Not- I feel-
Usher or better.
What
I
about
think
MC
is-
Hammer? How's MC Hammer doing on this thing?
MC Hammer's in that zone, you know.
Oh man.
I don't. What's our ratings on this one? Do we have much? I don't know what to talk about this show.
Yeah.
I think that this show is probably more interesting later on in the season when like you're doing more voting and each week you get to see like the same guests. Like whereas like this beginning you have to like I don't know how many weeks of like auditions you're gonna watch.
This is week 5.
before you get to a point where you get to see somebody again and then to actually vote. Like this is I know it goes on all summer, so it's like
Yeah.
this is like a 3-month thing.
Are there multiple of these in a year? Or is there like
No,
one a
it's
year?
a-
that's
it's
the
a
thing?
summer
It's a
thing.
summer thing. And like, isn't there something to? Is it this show or maybe there's another show that's similar where like you get like some sort of deal or like they fund you or like something like that?
Well, this one you get $1 million and a show in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
American Idol used to be like they'd sign you to a label.
Right. Like I feel like there's been multiple like singers that have come
There's
through.
like X Factor.
I think you think of American Idol.
Okay.
Simon's
But I mean, $1
original
million
show.
is nothing to like joke about.
$1 million is a lot. That's a lot for these shows.
Right.
And Vegas stage show, like it's a pretty good opportunity.
Yeah.
It's no Food Network pilot, but you know.
Right.
I mean, how does this? I've never watched the X Factor and the other shows that are on. How does this compare? Does anyone watch any of those?
I've seen The Voice. like a couple of times. I feel like.
Seen American Idol, seen The Voice a couple
American
times.
I mean, I've seen American Idol, but American Idol is done, right? So it's just like you got
Yeah.
The Voice, X Factor. Like, there's no like
So
this
you
genre's
think-
like kind of dying.
So you think you can dance?
But that's not like people coming and auditioning and trying
No, I
to
think
win
it
out of
is.
talent. I thought.
I
so you-
think
oh, I guess you're right.
you're thinking
it's
of a
just
Thinking of
different
Dancing
one.
with the Stars.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of for a
What
second.
about So You Think You Can Dance with the Stars?
Oh man, that'd be a great show.
Great crossover.
That, yeah.
So the thing with X Factor, like I didn't really watch it, but like the idea was that once they got through the auditions, everyone got assigned one of the 4 judges to be like their coach, and so then in the second round, it's like you're on Team Simon, and you do that, and like The Voice has a similar thing where like you end up being like coached by one of the 4 people and stuff like that. So
Is that not the case in this one?
as far as I know, it's not. I think they're just like you judges and stuff like that, but it goes forward and.
I don't like as the show goes forward, the judges matter less and less because I mean, we vote for it.
It's all America.
America votes.
Right.
So
they
like
just
the
kinda-
judges just sit there.
So they're just kind of commentators.
I think
during
they
the
get
live show.
I think they get like an act that they want they can go through.
So to clarify, they're the judge, but you, the jury.
Oh. So and like
Another-
on American Idol, like I watched season 2 of American Idol.
Like the
And
whole
that was
thing.
The whole thing.
Who won?
Ruben stuttered.
That was a great season.
Was that the William Hung year?
No.
That was way before that.
That was season 1?
No, William Hung was like season 10 or something.
I thought you said you watched season 2.
Was season
Yeah,
one?
so the season I watched was way before William Hung.
Oh, okay.
Is what I
So
said.
you meant William Hung was way
No.
before you watched.
Anyway.
Was season 1 like Carrie Underwood or something?
No, season 1
Kelly
was
Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson.
Same person.
Same.
No, Carrie Underwood is, the ultimate American Idol.
I think
at this
Carrie
point.
Underwood's season 3.
Yeah. So anyway,
Literally,
so-
I could not.
You kind of have to get in early on these shows, or else you don't really get famous from it. I think.
Yeah.
So the thing with the judges, so American Idol, the judges, the auditions, and the judges are just deciding who's in. But once it gets to a certain point and the fans vote, the judges are just like trying to influence the people at home to be like, and like Simon was like the one to be like, I know you have fans out there, they're voting for you, but you are just no good, and this has got to be your last week, and then like they'll stay in and they'll
Yeah,
be like,
because-
Simon, what do you think of that? It's like, I don't get it, I don't know what people are voting for. But
The
like, that's-
anti-Simon vote.
yeah, and and then so it's like in this show, like there's the element of the judges don't know what they're gonna do. In American Idol, it's like they're gonna sing a song, and so there's less like, well, what's this gonna be?
Well, is he going to be good or bad?
Yeah, but then American Idol did things like, okay, there's like themes for the week, so everyone's trying to sing like certain kinds of songs, certain kind of styles, and I don't think this show will be that kind of thing. So
Well, I think there's some continuity. There's like acts that you like. So
Yeah.
you're like every week, I want to see what this crazy ventriloquist guy does because he's fucking bananas upside down. Upside down.
Upside down bananas.
Bananas
upside down banana ventriloquist.
Yeah. That's
I
what I feel like you'd have to
I wanna
do to
see
be on the
this
show.
I want to see this act.
That,
exactly.
Zach, this is his weekend thing.
That Despicable Me co-marketing really sunk into your brain, huh?
Yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
bananas.
Chris got inceptioned by the Despicable Me banana.
So much cross marketing in this. Even though we watched this on Hulu without ads, like I feel like the whole thing was just
They got the ads in there.
It's just the whole
Dunkin'
It was like,
Donuts.
they were like, "Hey, check out this Despicable Me thing," and then we're like, right to the next segment. Didn't see anything about it. Even I feel like we even had ads on at that point, and they didn't show the Despicable Me ad.
Yeah, no, Hulu has different ads going on.
Yeah. So what's the rankings on this one?
I'm gonna go middle third on this one. Like, it was definitely entertaining, but it doesn't pull you in to want to be like, oh, I want to definitely want some more of this. But it wasn't bad.
Yeah, I feel like it's solid middle. Like it's not. I wouldn't really watch it every week, but if it was like I was hanging out with people and they wanted to watch it, I might not tell them to turn it off.
I kind of feel the same way about it. I think it's definitely middle third, and like, yeah, like there's like I'm definitely not gonna watch this show every week. Like if it was on, I'd be like, oh cool, I wonder what kind of wacky acts are on. But yeah, I mean, it's not.
It's not actively bad.
Certainly not a bad show.
James?
So I'm trying to keep the scale right here.
There's top, middle,
no.
bottom.
Is it your 9-point scale or your 10-point scale?
Oh, who
you
knows?
busted them both out last week.
There's so many
Wait. There was a
scales.
10-point scale. I
What,
thought there was just a
5-star,
9.
and you got the half stars.
No, I think it was a 9-point scale.
You was
There
like,
was a 9-point scale.
And then there was we should quickly. I don't know. All that aside, I really want to throw this in the top, and
Oh.
here's why. It's not because I want to watch the show every week. It's because the production value was good, the show was entertaining and interesting to watch, and I feel like it's a show that like you could literally watch with anybody without any real previous context to it. So it's like it's the kind of show that like I can go somewhere and somebody's got it on. It's like, oh, cool, like this is on. Can watch it, enjoy it, and move on.
so is it the
yeah.
lower, middle, or the top of the top tier?
Yeah, I mean, if we're going
Chris.
into the thirds of thirds rule here, I would say it's in the bottom third of the top third of
Okay.
the shows.
Barely squeaking in.
It's sort of borderline in my mind, but like because of like the things it does well, it doesn't have all the recaps. I do like agree, like it does have the looking forward stuff, but I think it actually helps the show in this case, in just my opinion. For a couple of things, they're like, oh, like I want to see that act, and then like I actually saw that act in the show. Thought
Well,
that
it was
cool.
like the show's 2 hours. They got to get you to stay on the couch for 2
right
hours.
because there's not a ton of continuity. They got to do something to like, oh, I want to watch for another 20 minutes to see whatever. Production was good, and just like overall flow, you could tell like they're putting money in the show, and there's like it's all there. So yeah.
Max,
I'm gonna say it's on the low side of a top third.
oh
James.
man,
Yeah, a rare occurrence. I wouldn't want to tune into this every week, but you know, it fucking moves. They pack a lot of entertainment in there, and it is entertaining. Like, you know, I think the judges have some good quips. Yeah.
well,
I think it's a really perfect, like, a show you were watching at 7:30 ended, and you want to watch something at 8, and you want to watch something for 30 minutes. Oh, I'll flip to this.
so on that note, the judges, like the third, whatever the third judge was,
Heidi
Heidi
Klum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she provided nothing to this.
It's weird.
She
'cause-
did the whole projection thing.
That's it. Her
the
comments.
producers are like, we got to get her in the show.
I don't
somehow.
even think they even showed her comments at all.
They did a little bit. There were a couple that was just like, you know, a singing act, just like yeah, like thought your singing was great. Or like just like a couple of comments like that.
I really wish I watched the season when Howard Stern was on because I feel like he like has that radio personality and actually provide like some good
Yeah, I definitely
like
saw a
solid
couple.
comments.
I definitely saw a couple of those episodes randomly when he was on. It seemed pretty good.
Heidi definitely seemed like the most expendable of the four judges. Like,
But she's been on for a long time.
but you know, like Simon obviously is like his brand of doing these kind of shows for a long time. But like both Mel and Howie like were pretty engaged and
Yeah.
made some good comments and some interesting like stuff to say. So
yeah,
there was
like,
some like side stuff and like there's like some
and they had
storyline
that
stuff
that
going on.
Simon
with the
Mel
judges.
fake feud thing going on.
Yeah.
Right.
you mean
whereas, like, with
the
Heidi-
sexual tension?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I could certainly like, as we've discussed, they must be shooting these things marathon days. Like they must be sitting down for 7-8 hours at a time shooting these things.
So many damn magicians.
And like I could definitely see the other judges like getting on your nerves after a while and like some stuff kind of bubbling up.
I
don't
feel
know. I
like
could
it would
see
be really hard to be a judge on the show because you're just like so fatigued after like a couple hours, like
super tough.
like
and you're on,
8 hours of this. Like I don't.
Yeah, and you have to be good on camera the whole time, and
Yeah.
it's tough.
You got to be in a good mood the whole time. You can't be like, and you got to be engaged. Yeah,
Bored.
it's got to be tough.
And I bet there's a lot of time in between acts too. Like when we were watching it, they're flowing through, right? But like there was a lot of
Yeah, like when
there was a
they
setup
when they had to
and
set up that dude's giant TV cutout thing like that, they whatever.
some
Get-
dude had
get
to
all
wheel
those-
that thing out from the back.
That's
I'm
right.
sure
It'll-
it took at least 30
It'll take like
seconds.
30 seconds. Yeah.
When
Get all those
Heidi had to
chairs.
get that suit on,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
When Heidi's going to put the suit on, they must just been like sitting around, be like, I guess something's going on. I don't know.
Definitely.
Right. That was probably when the the water tossing happened. There
No,
was
no,
a
Heidi
board.
was there for
oh,
the
she
water
was
type
shit,
thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Nothing happens. Who knows?
all right. So we got some updates this week. I think.
Do we got some updates?
Updates.
Harrison, you want to hit us with them dates?
Yeah, sure. So, No challenge update this week because the challenge is done in between seasons.
Shit.
When's the new season? On its
When's
like
next
2-week hiatus.
It's 2 week. Yeah, it's coming back mid-July
with Tej.
with Tej.
'Kay.
Season 30.
Yo, we watching the opener?
I think I haven't sold all of the podcast members on it yet, but I'm working on it.
Well, here's the thing. With the challenge, I feel like if I'm not in early, then there's no hope because I'm not catching up on that show.
I'm watching the whole season. The only question is whether we're doing the first episode on the podcast.
Oh, on the pod. I was just saying, are we watching
Or,
it?
each episode on the podcast.
Right.
Well, we got to get the updates.
Yeah. Okay, so Bachelorette, and I'm going to do a co-update on this one with Max here a little bit, because Max did join me this week to watch Bachelorette.
Man.
Why, Max?
I think that
Why?
there are like two. I think that there are probably two things to talk about that are worth talking about this week.
Should we start off with the worst date in existence?
Take it away on the Jack Stone date.
All right, there's a guy on The Bachelorette named Jack Stone.
Yeah, we met him.
He's a pretty decent looking guy, but he stares at you way too intently, and he sort of tucks his chin in whenever he's talking to you. It's really weird.
This was the doll guy, right?
No. Jack Stone is in our top 5 crazy people, but he's in the top 5 for being Jack Stone.
Just for the name.
Yeah,
The name and the eyes.
and yeah.
Okay, all right.
And his
I'm
face.
just trying to make sure. I'm
Trying
trying
his face.
Yeah. Basically, he goes on this date and he thinks it's going great, and he says to Rachel, I think I'm falling in love with you, and she says, "You're out. Get out of here."
It's
On the spot?
It was so like he's on this one-on-one, and he starts just very slowly, agonizingly like professing his love to her, basically, and it's happening, and you can tell by the way she's looking and by the music that they've chosen for the scene that it is off the rails, and it's like super super cringeworthy.
So she just dumps him on the spot cold.
He basically tells her how he feels, and then she's like, I gotta be honest with you, like, I like you, but I don't really feel that way about you. And he's donezo.
Oh, so you didn't even get to go to the rose ceremony. He's just like, get out of this date right now.
So the whole thing with the one-on-one dates is, I've now learned, is it's a bit of a risky situation, because at the end of the one-on-one, you either get the rose from the one-on-one and you're automatically in the next round, or you're off the show.
Oh.
So it's kind of like a high-stakes situation.
It's some kind of Bachelorette challenge situation.
Yeah,
it's an elimination
challenge.
High risk, high reward.
So you've got that. And then you've got the other plot that's been kind of ongoing between Kenny, professional wrestler Kenny.
Oh, James's pick.
And
Is that my pick? Shit,
This is your guy.
your pick,
Okay.
and Lee, who, if you remember the first episode, he's
He looks like
singer
some
guy
sorta-
that came in with a guitar.
Oh, the guy with the guitar. Yeah.
Country guy.
and
He's
they're-
playing up the country accent.
Yeah.
yeah.
And like he's kind of become like the villain of the season. Like he just kind of like basically just tries to stir up a bunch of shit and make the other guys look bad to Rachel, so that they'll just get tossed off for stuff. So like he basically Lee and Kenny basically get in this whole series of things that we don't really need to get into. And there's a lot of bad blood between those folks. So they introduced us to a new concept in The Bachelorette, which I hadn't heard of before: the 2-on-1 date. So there's a date that is just Kenny and Lee on a date with Rachel to sort this situation out.
Do they do a
basically.
3-way makeout?
Unfortunately not.
That would have been great.
That would be a hell of a twist.
The 2-on-1 date was pretty entertaining, though. I did.
Whoa,
crash.
you watched
Oh,
this?
I did show up.
Why didn't you say the 3 of you were going to do the update?
That's right.
Well, somebody forgot to mention, but it's
That's
fine.
right, because you joined late.
I did join late. I joined for probably like the second half of the 2-hour show.
Yeah.
So you missed getting rid of Jack Stone. It was one of your
I missed getting rid of
favorites.
Jack Stone. I came in after
Came in
that.
right after Jack Stone.
Yeah. Which is okay. Like, I, obviously didn't like fucking Jack Stone.
So one thing to note about the 2-on-1 date is we don't totally know the rules yet. I know both of them cannot come back. One of them is off the show, but I don't know if there's a situation where both of them are off the show.
You can either throw both of them off or one of them off, but both of them
man.
cannot come back from the 2-on-1.
Oh, damn.
What is
Somebody's
this
going.
bullshit rules? There's no rules.
So the
if she
2-on
wants both of them back, they'll both be back. There's no fucking rules.
Well,
No,
if she
it's
wants-
the same as the 1-on-1 date, but
What-
except there's 2, right? So like,
If she
you either
wants
come back or
both
go.
of them back, she will not ask both of them on the 2-on-1. I think.
There's no
producers
rules
will
in
not
the
ask.
show.
The producers will not set up the 2-on-1 date.
Chris, you gotta trust the process. You're not trusting the process enough.
The process. It's all about the process.
Oh, Chris, do you have some updates on Married by Mom and Dad?
Are we done with Bachelorette?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
yeah.
moving on to that 2-on-1.
Max
yeah.
is done. Max is
he's
like,
over
let's
it.
I think
go.
we're basic. I think,
So,
like,
so the 2-on. So like, is the episode end? The 2-on-1
So-
still going?
so this week is kind of crazy. So this week there are two-hour episodes this week,
Oh man.
which is insane. So there was an episode on Monday, 2 hours, an episode on Tuesday, 2 hours. So we watched the Monday 2-hour episode. We've not watched last night's the Tuesday night 2-hour yet. So the cliffhanger in between episodes 1 and 2 is it's in the middle of the 2-on-1 date.
Yeah.
And basically Lee has gone to Rachel and told her a bunch of nonsense about
No,
Kenny.
like legit,
Like-
straight up lies,
like
about
legit
Kenny.
lies.
Oh, fake news.
And
like tarnishing Kenny's name, kind of lies. Like
Yeah. Oh, man.
saying he's like what was it, alcoholic and like all this bad
Yeah,
blood. He's got
it's-
these bad vibes and like doesn't know how to handle himself.
and like
He loses his
he's
temper.
like telling her that he yanked Lee out of this van that they were in and like all this stuff and like whatever. And like so Rachel tells Kenny about like all this stuff, and then basically the episode ends.
I don't think Kenny handled that
Kenny
great.
like Kenny's only objective in this 2-on-1 is to not let this other dude get under his skin, because that's been his whole problem, is he lets this dude get under his skin.
And he was doing all right. He was doing
really well. And then once he hears all this shit, he cannot believe it, and he is just like walking around.
He's walking around going, whoo, hoo, 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 hoo.
Yeah.
And just like walking back to Lee, just like, oh, I can't believe it. And
Yeah.
just like starts talking a bunch of shit. And,
and it
it's
looks
about
like
to go down.
Looks like there's about to be some kind of big confrontation or fight, and that's kind of where the cliffhanger was. So
All right.
we'll have to see next week.
So, I have Googled now. And Google now, for some reason, thinks I watched The Bachelorette.
Don't
For
spoil
some
me.
reason-
Don't spoil
reason-
me.
Oh, man.
I can
Chris-
tell you,
You gonna spoil this?
Oh,
thing?
it's going to happen.
Don't do
Chris
it.
is going to
Don't
freak
do
out.
it. Oh,
I'm not going to spoil what happens at the 2-on-1 date, but a bunch of people just left the show on Tuesday. There's a
a bunch of people left the show.
Well, they
Yeah.
did do a roast ceremony. Like they didn't do a roast ceremony that whole episode you watched, did
They
they?
did.
They did.
They did one at the beginning.
All right,
of the
who-
episode.
I think
got
we
the
got to
boot?
not talk about the spoilers here because the implications are too much.
I'm just
Well, no, but like the episode you watched, we can talk about who else is gone.
Oh, sure.
Is anyone in our list gone besides Jack Stone?
Who else was in the list? And I'll tell you the status.
All right, so Max had Peter, the Wisconsin guy.
Peter's
Peter's
still
in, and Peter got into a hot tub with Rachel
Oh.
for 3.5 hours.
Oh, yeah. That was, oh, man, that was so nuts.
in the middle of one of the group dates.
He could be a Uber CEO then.
He could in the middle of one of the group dates, when like Rachel's usually like taking the people off to the side to kind of have a conversation. She just goes like, "Hey, you want to take us to the hot tub?"
No, he did.
Oh yeah, he said.
So it's
well, yeah,
him and
so-
Rachel sitting on the couch in the like confessional room or whatever, just one on one. And the dude, was it Peter, looks around. He's like, "Hey, is that a patio?" And then so they go on the patio. He's like, "Hey, is that a hot tub?" And then there's in the hot tub for like 3 hours making out.
And then he walks back in the room with the rest of the dudes on the group date, and there's like, "What happened? It's been 3 hours or something like insane." Like
Oh man, Peter's
Oh,
making
man.
moves.
Peter, okay,
Peter's looking good. Who Max has Peter?
Max is Peter.
Man, Max is looking pretty good.
Peter's
position.
looking good.
All right, Chris had Brian, Colombian makeout guy.
Colombian makeout guy is also looking good.
He's looking good.
Uh,
More making out.
He's been making out with her
He's
all the
the
time.
front runner.
At this point, anyone who's in the game is making out with her every time they see her.
Insane.
Oh, man.
I had
Yeah.
Kenny as we discussed.
And
Is Kenny making out with her?
and
yeah, it's Kenny. I didn't see that part.
They've kissed.
They've kissed. Not hardcore. I think like
So I'm not
kinda-
looking so good.
not looking
Uh,
so good.
Well, he's also, as we discussed
a-
on the 2-1, a little shaky ground right
He's
now.
in the Bachelorette Thunderdome
But
right now.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. No, the Colombian makeout guy though, he's the first person, maybe aside from Jack Stone, to say that he thinks he's falling in love with her. Apparently, that's a big,
Oh, man.
big step.
We'll see how that goes.
That's
Yeah,
a big
let's see how
step
it
in the
goes.
Bachelorette
It
game.
is.
So
It's a
who
checkpoint.
are the other two?
So I had Josiah, the confident lawyer.
Josiah's in. He's a little bit maybe on rocky territory
Oh,
lately, but
no.
I think he's in.
And then Harrison had Diggy, who I was already
Diggy's gone.
So then in our
He gone.
crazy guys, so we lost Waboom, we lost Jack Stone.
Yep.
Adam the doll guy.
Adam's still in.
Still in.
And doll
And the penguin guy.
AJ still making appearances.
What about Matt the penguin?
Still in.
Still in.
What about Jonathan the tickle monster?
Gone.
Oh, thank God.
He went that episode.
Yeah, he went this episode.
And he
So-
tickled her
Oh
on the
yeah,
way out.
he did the same move. He's like, one more for the road, and he just molests her again.
It was working for him. Like,
Yeah.
I can't blame him after he got this far to like sticking with it because it's clearly doing all right.
Such a bad gimmick, though.
It's such a bad
Yeah.
gimmick. All right,
It's real bad.
so we're only down to 2 from our original 5 crazies, and
Yeah.
we've got 4 of our picks still in. So we're
pretty
doing
good.
okay.
It's pretty good.
Though Kenny, it sounds like Kenny might be on thin ice, James. So
Might be thin ice. What was the wager again?
the wager is if one of us wins, then everyone pays $5 that person.
Okay.
If none of the people we picked wins, we all put $5 in to buy a bottle of booze, and we'll do a shot on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
And then Max says later that night we have to finish that bottle.
That seems reasonable.
I feel like we have to finish the bottle before the podcast.
No, I think that pod is off the rails.
Well,
yeah,
if we
that's-
do the
that's
whole
what you
What
bottle.
want.
about on the pod?
What about we have from the time we start watching the show to the end of the pod to finish the bottle?
I feel we're not potting. I feel like by the end of the show, we're just like we can't even set the mics up.
I feel like
Keep
maybe
in
even
mind-
some sort of poll or something.
Keep in
on
mind, this would be $25. That's not going to buy you very much.
that. Oh, that's going to be a terrible bottle of booze.
No, it's
Oh,
going to
it's
buy
gonna
you a
sh-
lot of bad alcohol.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
It's going to be so.
How
hard
much
to drink.
Fireball can we get for $25?
Not a lot.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
So yes, I have been watching Married by Mom and Dad.
Oh shit.
I've been waiting for this update. So
Is season
I
over
stayed
yet?
up late last night to finish season
Oh,
1.
you finished
so I
season
will
1. You
Also
finished
be
season
up
1.
to date.
Okay,
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so
I didn't know. I didn't want to spoil you if you
I
hadn't
know. I
finished
was
it.
like, either I'm getting spoiled or I got to finish
I
it.
mean,
so
I
stayed
was
up
gonna.
late
I was
last
just gonna
night.
do whatever episode you were up to.
And I'm caught up.
I
Yeah.
also watched episode 10 of Married by Mom and Dad.
Is that the last episode?
Yeah.
Oh, 3
Well, it-
people have
I-
fully watched
no,
the show.
I watched episode 1 and episode 10.
Oh, okay.
To be fair, you didn't watch the last 15 minutes.
Okay, I have one question. How many people got married by mom and dad?
Got
How,
married or
hold on,
stayed
hold on,
married?
hold on. How many? What do you think the
Oh, this is
success
gonna be
rate
great.
of the show was? There's 4 people. How many people at the end of the show are still married?
I
How much
think
time has passed?
That's
Like
a good
in
question.
real time.
So one of the things that's real weird with the show is it's super fast. Like once the parents make the pick, they're like, "Yeah, the wedding's in 3 days."
Whoa.
It's-
Okay.
Oh my god.
So like the whole thing is like one of the parents talks about how their took vacation days from work to come visit their son, and the whole thing is happening while they're like on a vacation. It's like a 2 week
2 week to a month, depending on the couple. Probably.
I can't imagine any of these. I'm just gonna take a stab. Like I can't imagine any of these working out. And if they do, they're insane people.
They got to wrap up the production on this thing, as we know it's a very low budget show. Shoot it in 2
Yeah.
weeks.
All right, so you're saying 0 for 4.
Whew, I can't imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine any of this lasting.
It's gonna either be 1 or 0. Like I think it's gonna
Right.
be one person's maybe in there.
And it just they haven't.
I'm
called it
gonna
off yet because
I'm
it's only
gonna
been
go
2
with
weeks.
there's one person still married at the end of the show.
That's a
Okay.
good call.
There is one person
Oh, man.
married by mom and dad at first sight that is still married.
Oh, the first sight one's the most successful.
The first sight one is the one who pulled it off.
That makes kind
Wow.
of sense though, right? Because they're like, you just met the person, so you're like, you might as well give it a few days or a week to like see how it's gonna go. Because like now you're married, might as well try it out. Versus like, oh, I met this person. What are you insane? Like, why are we getting married?
there was another one who got married and tried it out, and it didn't end well.
Oh man.
Yeah. So let's. So we'll go through each couple. There was one couple that got married by mom and dad at first sight. They seemed like they were pretty timid after they got married. Like they were definitely. There was no consummating the marriage night of.
Well, I don't know where they found that guy. That guy was like such a super nice guy.
Yeah,
he was way
he
too
was a
good for
great
that show.
guy, yeah.
But like, it was a very married at first sight thing where like she's decently good looking, and he's not bad looking, but he's definitely like not on her level. And like you can tell as soon as she sees him, she's kind of got the fake smile going of like this
Oh,
didn't match
no.
my like imagination. And then she's just doing all these insane. Like he's like the next day he's like, so we should start talking about like, are we gonna live together? Like, we're living together now. Like, how should we figure that out? She's like, well, we just met. Like, I need my space. I don't know if we should be talking about that yet. And it's like, you've gotten married.
got married.
Same person.
Yeah, there's definitely like a weird dynamic. There's a very weird dynamic with this.
Because no one believes that they're actually getting married for the rest of their life in this show.
Right. And so, but like this guy really
He
seemed to be like,
definitely-
yeah, we're married. And like, let's treat this like we're really married.
He's all in. He's like,
He's
"Oh, we
all
gotta
in.
do this thing.
And then like, but like he was like, so he makes a joke at the wedding that like, oh, it's so funny how your dad proposed to me. I didn't propose to you. And then a couple days later, he sets up a thing so that she like comes in and he set up a thing to propose to her even though they're already married. And like he like really nails it. Like
Oh,
so.
man.
Yeah,
So he broke her down.
He does some other romantic things on like this. I don't know how long these honeymoons were. They were like,
I think it was like 3 days.
yeah, they were like
Were there
really short.
destination honeymoons?
It's a destination from Charleston, South Carolina to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
That's a little better. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
that's a
something.
nice spot. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how much of the show was actually paying for any of this. I don't. So I mean, I feel like I'm pretty sure this couple lasts. Like I'm like so I didn't look at the news for them, but
I was just trying to look it up. Do you know what their name was?
Rawleysons.
Oh yeah. Okay, you keep talking. I'll try and find it.
One of my
um,
favorite things about this is the lady. So they wake up in bed, and it shows like the subtitle of like something Rolison Hass, and she asks her husband, "How do I spell your name?" She has changed her name and doesn't know how to spell it anymore.
Well,
That's rough.
I don't think she'd actually officially changed her name. I think they just on the Chiron decided to.
Oh, damn!
like that.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Okay, I have another question. What's the situation with prenups on this show?
Oh,
They didn't
that's a
mention
hell of a
prenups at
question.
all.
They don't get in anything legal. Like I was actually wondering if they actually got any legally married in any of these things, or
Like
if it's
it-
just like they
You think
exchange
that they
rings.
might not actually be married?
That would not surprise me.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Because-
wouldn't surprise me at all either.
Because
This other couple makes it
when
seem
we get
like
into
they
the
did
other
not.
couple and the end of that, there's definitely some things that make it seem like they were never like really married. But,
Oh,
you
weird.
know.
So
Okay.
they do like some kind of ceremony, but it's not actual like
Like the thing with the
courthouse approved and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, so like if you any kind of wedding ceremony you have, no matter what, there's a point where you have to actually go and sign a legal document.
Right.
And like technically the best man and the maid of honor are like your witnesses who also have to sign. And if you don't do that, you technically didn't get married.
Right.
So if that just didn't happen, then like it's not like they're really married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's talk about some other couples here.
All right, let's quickly go through the other two. So you remember the girl with the dad and all the bald men?
Yeah. Oh,
So
man.
the dad basically after
Well,
she meets.
we talked about it last week.
We
where-
talked last week. So the dad just like, I'm out. They're all bad. I pick none. And
Good call.
the girl's so mad at him. She's like, I've tried every other kind of dating. This is my only chance to get married. And he's just like, you a dummy.
He's the only person with any sense about them on the show. It
Yeah.
sounds
So
like.
she finally like he convinces her that he did the right thing. And she's like, maybe I could still date that one guy who's kind of okay. And he's like, sure, but like we're definitely not saying you're gonna get married to him. And then then they're just out of the show for the last couple episodes because they're just done. And then they have like a recap that's like she's not dating that guy.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She was just not in. She was off the show.
yeah. So the dad just
because like the producer just couldn't find somebody that wasn't fucking bald. Like
they
I don't
found-
understand.
they
this.
found
Well, I
one
mean,
non-bald guy.
You gotta find people that sign up in the
Oh.
geographic region that like would want to get married. I mean, it's not like you're pulling
yeah.
from like the whole nation. You're pulling
As
from a
we've
small-
discussed,
Yeah, for sure.
I know
the
it
pool is extremely thin
Right.
Yeah.
There's nobody in the pool.
because it's an unknown show with no budget.
yeah.
In
So-
Charleston, South Carolina.
And, like,
Well,
there's
they're in New York.
oh, they're in New York.
They're the
Wait.
ones in New York.
Oh, so the show's in different like.
So,
Yeah.
so
okay, got it.
Married at First Sight girls in South Carolina. That person's in New York. The actor guy's in L.A. And then the guy who wasn't in the episode you saw is in Denver. And
Okay.
so that guy, we'll go through real quick. He's this outdoorsy guy. Seems like kind of a jerk. And so,
he is totally a jerk.
well,
There's a reason why no one's marrying that guy.
yeah,
Oh
he
man, Chris feels passionate here.
So at first he seems like kind of a jerk, and then
Yeah.
he goes in. His parents pick these two girls, and they go on a date with him.
These are great girls.
These
too.
are great girls, and like one of them actually really gets along well with him, and like he's kind of like trying to give her some shit, and she's just like giving it back, and so the parents pick her. Like she's great. As soon as they pick her, the guy's like, he's just like he's like not even like trying to really be that nice to her, and doesn't seem that. She's like, "You excited to get married?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then basically, like, he tells the dad the next day, he's like, I don't think I should do this. I think it's a bad idea. And the dad's like, what do you mean? We came all the way out, and like we had to travel to come here, and we found this amazing woman. And what are you doing? And the guy just goes, nah. There's an interview with the producer. She's like, are you ever gonna get married? And he's like, I don't know.
What?
Oh my
And
god.
so this woman really likes the parents, and so she actually makes a point to come say goodbye to the parents. And she's like, I'll be in touch with you guys, even though
Wow.
he doesn't want to date her even and do anything, but she's saying she's still going to be in touch with the parents because they got along so great.
That's nuts.
This guy is just a terrible person.
Why
That's
is
horrible.
this guy on the show?
Unclear.
Right? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
But realistically, the guy just didn't think she was attractive enough, and then didn't want to get married to her, and then like, that's like from what I could tell, that's what it is. And he's a fucking jerk, like asshole. He gives off of that kind of vibe. I obviously don't know that guy.
Sure.
Yeah. But like, he was like a total waste in the show. Like, nothing really interesting happened with him.
Yeah, his stories are pretty boring. There's a reason why he wasn't on the first episode.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
Basically,
So
that guy just sucks, and you're like, well, okay.
It's just like it's so funny to me that like 75% of the cases the show did not achieve the goal of the show.
50% of the cases, they didn't even get married.
Not at all. Yeah.
So
nuts.
yeah.
That's so crazy.
But
Like the only successful one was the Married at First Sight one. So if anyone here listening was thinking about going on Married Mom and Dad, just go on Married at First Sight. It's a way better thing.
I may have a slight update on season 2.
Oh,
But
okay.
Married by
wait.
Mom and Dad season
yeah,
2?
Yeah.
Hit me.
Wait, there's a season 2?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just gonna ask, is this show gonna get canceled?
No, we just watched season 1. There's also been a season 2.
Well, we gotta talk. Let's save that one for next week.
Okay.
Let's finish off season 1. There's
All right.
one more couple left.
Chris, let's get into the last guy, LA guy.
So last week I talked about this guy, and I said this girl didn't seem like she was ready to get married, but it looks like the parents are going to pick her, and they did, and they get married, and like there's also like tons of red flags about this girl, where like the family's not invited to the wedding, the parent, like none of the friends are there for the girl, like
They flat up ask her, did you tell your family? Nope. Did you tell your friends? Nope. Are you going to tell why? Nope.
It's definitely weird not to tell anybody, but I could see not having a bunch of friends and family there because you're just in God knows where on this reality show now.
She just moved to LA recently, supposedly, and like.
Sure.
But here's
and
the thing. She's not the crazy one in this couple.
she's really not.
Yeah, Max. I think you spoiled Chris's build-up a bit, but Max is definitely right.
Oh,
This guy, I don't know how to describe this guy. They get, so at some
So
point,
this is the guy who kept on talking about this show like it was an opportunity.
This was
That guy?
this is the opportunity. This
Okay.
is the trust the process guy, I think. too.
oh, he's trusting
Trust
the.
the process.
With all his weird LA friends, and so after they get married, he's like trying to do it, and she seems like she's not really trying that hard, and kind of mentally thinking about how she gets out of the situation. But like he just,
I
is
felt
just
like
in
they
a-
were growing on each other a little bit, but like I don't know if that was like the show.
like he was
like,
he definitely seemed into it, but like the thing is like he doesn't ask her about anything. He doesn't really seem to want to know about her that much. He's always talking about himself. He's always interested in like, oh, I'm a sommelier. Let's go do a wine thing. 'Cause I love wine and all this stuff. And she flat up asks one point, what's something about me you want to know that you don't know yet? And he asks her a question about what she thinks about him.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. But
pretty
at-
self-absorbed.
pretty self-absorbed, but then it goes way, way, way off the rails in a very unexpected way.
It does. You take it.
You want me to take it?
You take it.
So she finally brings a couple of her friends over to meet him, and they get super drunk. They're doing beer pong, they're doing shots, and
Oh,
you can
man.
clearly tell he's like pretty drunk. And then the friend, and so he's got this roommate he's lived with for a long time that talks with like his best friend, and he's like, and the wife makes him like, man, he really likes that friend of his and stuff. So the friend of the wife asks, hey, is that guy gay? And so the friend does not handle that question. The friend is like, sort of like he's caught of like,
Yeah, this is
then-
the craziest part. It's like the friend just like
oh man.
like
he just
tries
kinda
to dodge
freezes
the
up.
question.
yeah, he tries to dodge the question, and then the husband, the LA guy, comes back out, and he is angry. He's like, that how dare he keeps saying question my sexuality, which is like, how do you question my character like that? It feels like what he's saying.
Oh, and yeah.
So he really like, one, like, there's no interpretation of this that really comes out well for him, but like his reaction is so bad.
Oh.
And then he wants the wife to like kick the friend out because she's like said such a terrible thing, and the wife's like, I don't really want to get into this like crazy situation.
Right.
So he leaves and storms off. And he's mad at the wife because the wife didn't defend him the way she should have.
Wow.
And then,
That's
like,
nuts.
the finale is so bad because it's half the show is just them arguing about him saying she's terrible and her kind of trying to point out, like, hey, I think we kind of maybe both were not great in that situation. He's like, no, I was fine and you were terrible. And at one point she's like, did you think about what I thought in that situation? He's like, why would I do that?
Oh, no.
And then there's even a postscript where he and the best friend are just talking about, wow, she's so terrible, and how could she do that for like forever? And it's just like, what are you doing in this show? Like,
Super weird.
And yeah, he did not leave a good impression by the end of that episode.
Huh.
Do you
He
think it
is
was,
crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, do you think it was like cut in such a way that it like made it worse, or like it just genuinely just
It was
didn't feel
cut
right?
in a way that made him look somewhat positive, and that's saying a
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
For
Interesting.
like how negative this stance actually was.
I do feel like they were trying to cut it to make it look more even, when really it was like, this guy is the worst.
Yeah, the girl just like pretty much after that just nopes out. She takes all her stuff and leaves.
Yeah, and she like drops the ring, and then there's a thing later that's like they haven't spoken since that time, and they're like, but like the Chiron's changed to ex-husband, ex-wife. So it's like, if they were legally married, you think they would have had to have something happen to break it off.
There would have
That's
been
what
a
makes me
whole
think.
splitting of things and lawyers involved, or
Yeah,
prenups
that's what
or
makes me
something.
think.
I mean, in that amount of time, you can probably have an annulment.
So-
I would guess.
So I found an article about somebody in the second season. I'm not saying who, but they checked it. They do have a real marriage license.
Oh,
So
interesting.
How many is it? Season 2 is the current
Season 2 just ended.
Oh, okay. So, how do you guys feel about season 1? Like looking back at it.
I feel there's a good show in here, but it doesn't. It
There's
doesn't
too many
execute.
episodes. Like if you cut it down from 10 to like 8, I think it would be a stronger show. There's definitely like a lot of reality show dragging that like kind of annoyed me.
There's
And
a lot more like recapping and coming up and stuff.
yes, there's a lot of, reality
The normal
recapping
bullshit,
and stuff. But like I think that it was like these people felt genuine, and it felt like, hey, let's just get these people together and see what happens, which I enjoyed without like a lot of producer like input. Whereas like I don't really like highly produced stuff. I'd rather see what happens with
Like the more
when people
real documentary-esque kind
yeah.
of vibes.
This wasn't like a documentary. This is definitely producers like creating these scenarios, but it wasn't like, hey, let's remove the internet from 40 guys and then like see what kind of things we can film.
It was raw. Is what you're saying.
It felt, these people felt more genuine than most reality shows.
That's true.
Even though like these people are like, let's get married, and they're generally not like the most normal people to like sign up for something like that. Although some of them I think are more normal than others, but some of them are clearly reasons why they're not married.
Yep.
And season 2 definitely takes that to the next level.
Oh boy.
Is there any email or Twitter handles that go out? And it's like, if it doesn't work out, you can always email them.
No, there's no if you are the one email.
I feel like that should be the thing with it. What show was that? The Japanese one or something? Yeah,
Chinese. If you are the one.
Yeah, I really like that element.
oh, totally. It's
like
great.
it didn't work out. It's just like, all right, well,
Well,
email
I
'em.
mean, so on the show we just watched, you could go see the Twitter handle of the opera guy.
yeah.
So that's kind of the American.
I feel
version.
like you're providing perverse incentives to come on these shows. Some of them would be okay, but some of them would be like, yeah, I didn't really want to get married. I just want my email out there. Like, if you are the one, clearly most of those people on the show are just to get their email out there.
Well, like the the email is just for whatever you're on, whatever show for. So if you're on some singing show, then people can just email you to book you for stuff. If you're on a dating show,
there should definitely be like more of like an email for anyone on reality shows. I don't like
it's just a disaster if you're on actual TV and that kind of thing happens. Like, it's too crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was fine. I would still probably put it in the top third just because I think it was really entertaining.
Okay.
And I mean, you're continuing to watch it, so
yeah,
seems.
See, we'll talk about season 2 next week.
Cool.
I thought it had some ups and downs. Like I thought, like we're getting into the finale. I thought it was picking up again, but then like I didn't want to watch that LA guy and his fake wife.
It was way
argue
too
so
long.
much. It was
the finale shouldn't have been 2 hours,
and they spent way too much time on that thing, and the artificialness of the timeline started to bug me. Of them like, well, the wedding's now in 3 days. It's like, why does the wedding have to be in 3 days? Like that doesn't seem to make sense. And so that it's like the part where they're actually going from they've picked the woman or guy to the wedding, I felt was the weakest part.
But the married. So what I can say is that season 2 they do the married at first sight. So like
everybody's married by mom and dad at first sight.
So they cut out that whole like awkward like let's meet and see if you actually want to get married piece. So it's just like nope, you're just getting married. So at that I think that was a much better way to do it. It was like you get the parents conversation and then you've got there's no awkward they meet and then let me back out of this. That's essentially what happened.
So what you're saying is they found a way to force more people to get married.
Essentially. I mean, essentially.
Well, but it's still up to the parents. Like, unlike Married at First Sight, which is the producers and, whatever
Dr. Pepper.
research Dr. Pepper they do. It sounded weird when I said it like that.
Well, that was
in
the
this
doctor,
case, it's
right?
just the parents trying to make a, uninformed decision based off of 3 videos they see of some dudes.
You've basically taken any decision making or judgment away from the bride and groom.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Harrison's still not going to be happy with season 2 because
How's
they
that
say
talent pool looking?
dozens of videos.
Dozens.
They literally said dozens of videos.
Man, that's nuts.
All right. Does anyone else anything else they want to talk about? All right. Well, you can follow us on Twitter at Who Put This On. You can find us on Facebook.com/Who Put This On. You can email us questions at whoputthison@gmail.com. Please rate us on iTunes. And I don't know what we're watching next week.
It's right after 4th of July. We'll try and squeeze one in.
Tweet at us. Maybe we're taking listener feedback for next week.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll see you guys next time.